Welcome to The Eyes Have It. I'm Katie Brochu, Superintendent, Richland School District 2. We have a wonderful show in store for you today. We are going to be wrapping up Military Month here in Richland 2, and we have a number of guests that are here to share their stories and the wraparound services that we provide here in Richland 2. I'm going to begin by asking our guests to introduce themselves.
My name is Erica Underwood. My mother is in the military, and I'm a freshman at Richview High School.
I'm Jerry Underwood. I'm also a student here at Richview High School, and my mom's also in the military.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Brian Bolio. I am in the United States Army. I work for Arson down at Shaw Air Force Base, and I have 3 daughters in the Richland School District.
I'm Master Sergeant Kenya Chapman. I'm a United States Air Force Reserve recruit here in Columbia. I have 2 kids that are in the Richland 2 school district.
I'm Yasmin Hunt. I am the Department of Defense coordinator at Kelly Mill Middle School, and I also run the Military Matters after school program.
My name is Queen Trapp. I go to Kelly Mill Middle School, and my dad is in the military.
I'm Dr. Keisha McCoy Wilson, Army School Liaison Officer, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
And I'm Dr. Arlene Bakutis. I'm the District Grants Coordinator in the Planning Department.
Now, Arlene, I'm going to start with you because we have been blessed with a wonderful Department of Defense grant that has provided a great deal of resources for us here in Richland 2. If you will, please share a little bit about that grant and the services that we've received.
Absolutely. We are just so thankful to the Department of Defense. Originally, back in 2011, we became aware of a grant that was available. To be eligible at the school level, it had to have 15% military-connected students. So we looked at our Impact A data, and we found 8 schools were eligible. We created, working with principals and teachers, a design, and we called it the Victory Initiative, because we know at Fort Jackson, victory is ours, and so we're calling it the Victory Initiative. We were awarded approximately $2 million. In 2012, we looked at our Impact A data as well. We found that there were 9 schools and centers that were eligible, and so we received an additional $1 million. It is amazing what we've been able to do with these funds. The principals and the teachers, all the staff working together, they increase student achievement as well as increasing technology. The beauty of this grant is it's not only for the military-connected students. Once we get the grant, it's for all the students in all of the schools. And I'm so thankful for everyone here today because I'm sure that they will be able to share lots of activities that they've enjoyed because of the grant.
Great, thank you. Keisha, what is your position with the base, and what kinds of supports are you able to provide and that we are able to share in the partnership together?
Absolutely. I'm the Army School Liaison Officer at Fort Jackson. I'm the bridge between the installation and our local education agencies. And what my position entails is that we want to provide and sustain our partnerships with our local education agencies. And what we want to do is make sure that our military children and our families have the necessary resources that they need to make the best informed decisions possible for their children.
Great, thank you. Our students that are here, tell me a little bit about your experiences in being a part of a military family. Either any of you can talk.
I have to step up to the plate because my mom works, and I have 2 other sisters, and I have to take care of them and then do chores and then still keep my grades up. So
It can be challenging sometimes.
It creates a sense of maturity, I think, in all of us because we all have to grow up so fast. Not too fast, but fast enough to actually, help around the house and actually achieve things.
It helps me have leadership qualities, and I'm in the student council, and it helps me have good ideas to help other people.
Right. There are obviously some tough times that you face. You mentioned the leadership part and some difficulty that you would have. What kinds of services do you think have helped you in navigating through those tough times?
I'm a part of a group, and it's called Military Matters, and like the teachers there and are like really supportive, and there's other kids there, and it helped me feel more confident because I was kind of shy, and now it makes me like proud to be military.
Wow, that's great. Thank you.
I used to feel like there wasn't like a lot of military families out there. Like I used to feel like I wasn't connected. And then I joined the Army Reserve Teen Panel. And I, met people just like me who all get together and find better ways to work out these problems and make it so we're not so distant from each other.
I move around a lot, so when I came into middle school, I joined the Junior Student to Student program, which helped me meet a lot of new students that join the school each year that are military kids.
So the services really are helping you with your transitions and as you move forward with your learning. That's wonderful. Great.
That's right.
Great. As parents, when you're deployed, what type of services are we able to provide that you feel comfortable being deployed for your students and certainly for the rest of your family?
Well, ma'am, one of the first things I provide is just a forum where the families can get together, both children and parents can get together, whether it's something as simple as a breakfast or some sort of after school celebration, anything. Some of the things I've seen have had a huge influence. In fact, when I first got here, I immediately deployed before they even had their feet on the ground. But it wasn't months before I started getting messages from people I didn't even know saying, yeah, we met as part of this program. We'd like to help out if we could, help your family. So they immediately have a connection in a new environment. And that's something that's always a challenge when you're moving from place to place.
Right. Very good.
In my particular position, I haven't had the challenges that he's had as far as moving around as often. I've done a lot of what we call TDYs, which are temporary duty assignments, which are not as long as deployments are, but it still requires you to be away from your family. I can say that I've been here for 18 years. I've been to different assignments with my family. And I can say that this is the most well-connected community that I've been a part of, that caters to, military dependents and families and stuff. And it does help. She was talking about Military Matters. Ms. Hunt, she's been very instrumental in bringing this program to my child, who's in the 6th grade at Kelly Mill, which is the school that she's at. And we asked him, do you enjoy it? Are you getting any benefits out of it? He loves it. And it gives him a chance to meet fellow students, and they can relate to each other. It's kind of a unique situation. It's different from, kids who are a little bit more stationary. So that's a program I can point to right away that's had a real powerful impact on my children.
Thank you. Son, tell us a little bit more about Military Matters. And how did it begin and evolve to where it is today?
Okay, well, we've had some programs for military in prior years, but we never had a real concrete thing to get the students together and everything like that. And I've also been a military spouse, so I know definitely both sides of it. My daughter's father is in Germany now. He's been for a year and a half. In Queens, dad is in Alaska, and he's been this whole entire school year. And so when it was brought to me, do you want to run Military Matters and be our coordinator, I was like, sure, because I know from my daughter's experience how when they miss their parent, they need that, and also being off post, because we've lived on post, and to be off post, you really don't have that sense. On post is different. Obviously, if you're living there, then your parent is in the military. When you're off post, you might not know that. And so when you're in the school, you definitely wouldn't know this kid is also a military child. And so when we got it together and through the impact aid forms, we got the whole list. We had about maybe 130 families that are military connected, and we sent an email out to them and told them that we were going to have this after school program, which is every Tuesday from 2:30 to 4:30, and so they signed up for it, and so their kids, we have about 30 kids who come every Tuesday, and we have like a structured program. We have tutoring for them the first 30 minutes or so of the time. We have some downtime for them, and there are 2 other teachers aside from myself. I'm an ELA teacher, so I've got a math and I have a social studies teacher who also spend the time with the students with me. We have guests come in. We've worked with Operation Military Kids. Miss Lone from Clemson University, she's come in and have built robots with the kids, and she'll be coming in to do rockets with them and stuff like that. And we have had a fantastic partnership with our adoptive troop or military unit that has adopted Kelly Mill, which is Task Force Marshall Battalion, and they send guys maybe twice a month to come and hang out with the kids, and they spend the entire time with them, and the kids, they beg for them. When they're not there, they say, you know, is Mr. Reagan going to come in, and all that. And when they come in, when the guys come in, they like just pounce on them, and they play games with them. They help tutor them. We force them to help them with math. And so the kids have really come together. Now, outside of that, we also have a monthly guidance lunch that's open to the rest of the school. And if the kids, the military-connected kids, feel like, you know, they want to come and have lunch with their guidance counselors and with the other students, that we've done that. And so in the time, once the kids have really, the rest of the students have seen that, you know, hey, there is this thing, and maybe it's not so cheesy, especially the 8th graders think they're too cool for it. Then they've started to come and ask, you know, how do I come to the after-school session and things like that. And the newest thing that we've started, we kind of borrowed it from Sandlapper, but we've started Skyping. And so this morning, we Skype every Friday from 7 to 7:20, and students whose parents are deployed or geographically relocated elsewhere, they Skype with their parents. And so this morning we had about 3 kids come in, and they Skype with their parents in Afghanistan and Kuwait.
Just another great reason to have wonderful technology in our district. It certainly allows that to occur. Queen, you've been a part of Military Matters, and you've had some great experiences. Tell us a little bit more about the kinds of things that really have been meaningful to you personally.
Well, I enjoy the soldiers coming in and helping us, because, like, I get a different point of view since, like, my dad's the only military guy, I guess, in our family, so I get somebody else's say on the military. We had a field trip in February, and I really enjoyed that. We were put into groups, and then we learned some of their basic commands, and we saw how their dogs were like trained, and we saw what they could do. And so it's just a lot of basic things that are, it's cool to be around people who are like, have been through sometimes more things than I have.
Right.
And we do talk about it. That's one thing that we do after school is we ask them, you know, what is it like being a military kid? How are you feeling today? You know, what are your experiences? Where have you traveled? And they really start to share. We read blogs from other military students from nationwide, and then they relate or not to, you know, what that child is going through. And so they really have learned, I think, in this year to really speak up and to feel like it's okay for me to feel this way. It's okay for me to be angry or whatever the case may be. And it's okay for me to be proud of my parent. And they do display it. They wear their shirts. These are our shirts.
I noticed the shirt.
Yes, and it's
Great.
comprised of the names of all of the members of Military Matters this year. And we have one for you, actually. And so they wear that. Queen always wears it, and it's a good thing to see. So,
Much to be proud of.
yes.
Great, great. Arlene, as we move forward, obviously the grant has given, as I said earlier, wonderful resources. How do we think that we want to move forward and grow these fabulous wraparound services for our students and their families that are in military?
Absolutely, and that is always a focus with our grants, is to maintain that stability in going forward. These grants are 3-year grants, so they will go away, but we feel like now we're doing lots of professional learning for our teachers and staff. Think of it as seed money, if you will. Those teachers and staff, they're being trained to go forward, and then it will be train the trainer at our schools. And I know Queen had mentioned the junior student to student. That is such a wonderful program, and we need to thank Dr. McCoy Wilson for that. But she does that as part of her position. That does not cost any money, and so we are investing in our youth. We have the student programs beginning with, at the elementary level, it's actually called the Child to Child. So we see as students at Bridge Creek move up to Kelly Mill, they will already be trained, and then they will train the new students coming in. And so sustainability is definitely going to be a success.
Absolutely. And with that, to continue with what Dr. Pacutis has said, we have this effective partnership with Richland School District 2. And we want to make sure that our military-connected students and our civilian students have what they need. And we want to make sure that our civilian students are able to understand what our military-connected students are going through. So we partner them with military students, and we have this training. This training is not just for military-connected students, it's also for the civilian students as well, so that the civilian students understand what the military students are going through, and that they're able to assist them as they transition throughout their school term. So that's what we are very happy with, and that's what we would like to continue.
And that's so very important, that understanding of individuals that come from a different perspective, so that there is that respect and understanding and clarity about what's
Absolutely.
happening. Do you as students feel supported by non-military family students?
Not really the students, but more like teachers.
Okay. So you feel the support, you get that from the adults in the building, right? What about you guys?
I definitely feel that, you know, I feel like I'm more welcomed in, knowing that I'm from a military family. And they're kind of like, oh, that's cool, you know, and they want to know about, you know, what it was like wherever you were before, and it's kind of, they welcome you in. And I like that.
Wonderful.
Along with what he said, when we move and we're new to a school, the students are kind of welcoming. They ask us where we're from and all the places we've been to, and they think it's kind of cool that we get to go around the country and go to different states all the time. So they like to make conversation about it a lot.
Great. So you're actually even helping them to understand geographically different places and what it was like there, and sharing your experiences with those children that have not been a part of the military. It's wonderful, terrific. And I know as parents, you're always worried about, I'm sure, your children back at home while you're gone. And I'm delighted to hear the great connectivity and the communication. As we move forward, lessons learned for us, positive things that are happening, and maybe some things that we need to consider in our future. What might those be?
Well, I'll just say the positive right now for me is I've been in the Army about 18 years, and it wasn't until now, you know, we never really thought of our kids as military students. They're just students that bounce around at different schools every 2 years.
Right.
It wasn't really until here that they started getting instilled with this sense of pride of being a military student, and it wasn't until I dug deeper to realize what was going on and started attending some of these events. And I've been in military communities, even bigger probably military communities than here, and haven't seen anything come to the level of what we're doing here. Not even close, really. Mm-hmm. So it's been pretty amazing. The fact that there's counselors available, talking Lake Carolina here, I mean, that just blows me away for that specific mission. And so when the stressors always involved with the move, like, oh, I'm leaving to meet my old friends, I got to try to meet new friends. Well, it's almost a forcing function. They immediately meet people with common interests and similar stories, and they can connect to. And in turn, you're building that support structure where your spouses are connecting to the same thing. So that's a plus for me across the board. Lake Carolina does an absolutely amazing job, and I really can't think of any lessons learned at this point.
Okay.
Just to piggyback on what he said, me and my family, we've been here in the Columbia area for a few years now, and that's really not typical of most military families. Again, my situation is a little bit different, but my kids and myself, we've seen their friends come and go. Even in the middle of the school year when they have to relocate you pretty much know, oh, in the military. Okay, so it's something that everybody can relate to, and having these types of programs where we, even though we're in different services, it's not uncommon for us to run into each other because it's, we live outside of the base structure, outside of the installation. So a lot of times, where obviously you're on the base or in the installation, like you say, you know you're in the military, you're going to have those bonds, anyway. You don't get to interact as much with people outside of, the installation. But here, it's really a community, and I've never seen anything like it. And there's teachers, the faculty, the school district. It's just like a team effort, different layers. So it's like a common thread that everybody has the kids and the families' interest at heart. And it's really, we really appreciate it. The families do. And when we're away, that's one less thing we have to worry about, how our families will adjust, because we know we have those resources available. So,
thank you very much for sharing that. Hopefully, we can share our program and our way of doing business with other communities, and in the future that may want to learn some lessons that we have learned in installing a program such as this. So that's excellent to hear. Thank you.
Dr. Brochu, if I may be able to piggyback on that, just recently, the district and Fort Jackson, we had an opportunity to do a day in the life of a drill sergeant. We mentioned this sometime at the early start of the school year,
Right.
and the teachers wanted to get an idea of what it really felt like, to give us a brief snippet of what it felt like for our drill sergeants and what they would have to go through.
Right.
And we did a day in the life of a drill sergeant. And we woke up very early in the morning. We got onto the installation by 4:45 to experience and become totally immersed in the life of a drill sergeant. We had an opportunity to see wake-up call, had an opportunity to see how things happen during the day, throughout the course of the day.
Right.
And I feel very privileged to be a part of such a wonderful group of professionals within your district, because they want to see what it really feels like for these children who have to wake up sometime at the same time of their parents.
Right.
And so I'm really privileged and honored to be a part of this group of professionals that really want to understand what it really feels like to be a military child and to be a military family.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us here today. What a great information and wonderful stories, and we will continue to move forward and find ways that we can make the connectivity even greater for our students, our parents, and certainly our entire organization. With that, thank you to our audience for joining us, and we are closing out another wonderful segment of The Eyes Have It.
This program brought to you by